Welcome to Heath Keighran Cut.
To start, I'm just going to play this little game. It's like a rhyme association.
Oh, lovely.
Have you done it before?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I'll run over the rules. So I'll start by saying a word. So I might say cat, and then you would have to rhyme with cat, which might be hat, and then anything that's like associated with hat, which might be sunny. And then...
What's associated with cat?
Quiet on set. And then, so I would say cat, you would say rhyme with cat, which would be hat, and then anything that associates with hat.
Oh, I see what you're saying, like sunny is in outdoor. I get you, yeah.
And then I'd have to rhyme with sunny, and then anything which associates with sunny.
Okay, cool.
We'll give it a go.
Yeah, give it a go.
I'll start with beer.
Fear.
And then association.
Scared.
Ted. Paper.
Caper. Fish.
Dish. Pizza.
Feature. Film.
Perfect.
I did better than I thought.
That was good. And I think that's a nice segue into this episode about you.
Thank you very much.
Do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself in like the creative space, like how you feel currently about it, and yeah, just that.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much, and I appreciate you having me on this. Is great. So yeah, I'm an actor in Canberra, so I've done lots of films, television, some training videos and commercials, and I've also done fight and stunt choreography, as well as music, so I'm a musician, so I've done music outside and also for film as well, and sort of use that kind of thing as well. The other question is how I'm feeling about where we're going with all the film stuff. Fairly optimistic. I sort of, as we were discussing before, as it's taking a bit easier this year, and next year I'm going to decide what I'm going to do, where I'm going to take it, and what projects I want to do, and even get into more writing. Or, I've got a couple ideas. Yeah.
Nice. We were speaking before, my Pete was setting up, so we snuck off for a beer. And you kind of said that you, like early on, like achieved heaps of goals and hit like your milestones. And we were saying one of them was like home and away. And I remember being young and thinking, oh, it'd be really cool to be on that and kind of have that platform. And then, like, I remember like talking to people and they would try to pay you out about it, like, oh, you want to be on Home and Away or Neighbours? And as an actor, you're like, yes, of course.
Badge of honour, man.
In Australia, that was like the peak of kind of where you could get to back when I was young. But you were on it as a background actor. And we were kind of talking about like the pace and how it was going. But I'd love to hear kind of take us back to like who you were then. Going on to the Home and Away set, how you felt, kind of what you learned or anything you picked up that kind of helped you progress more?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it was always a goal. I always wanted to get on that or Neighbours. And I think at one point, Neighbours, they were finishing up or something, and they renewed it. And I was like, yes, there's still a chance. And getting onto Home and Away was just great. Like, it was an extra in the background. It was really cold where we were filming on this race day out at Goulburn. And it was a great experience because, you get to see some of these people you've seen on TV, you get to see how they're doing it. It's a massive production. And there's also just little things like we're having beers. Like, there's just a beer bottle and filled with water. But the beer labels, the labels on them are actually production made. Yeah, right. So they're not any labels, so they don't, affiliate it or have to pay some rights and all that sort of stuff. And met some great people on there. Some people I met before, some people I've like still talked to this day. And I think from where I am then, that was just a massive goal. And even just thinking about it, I was just like, I still get a little buzz from it, that the fact that I could just achieve that. And I mean, like, it's all been this massive learning curve for me. And it's, even when I just think about it, I just imagine me as a kid, if I told myself, adult to a kid, this is what you're going to do, I'll be like, I just wouldn't believe it. I was just surprised that I was able to get these opportunities. Yeah.
And how did you get it?
I think I just, I might have just applied, or it was a word of mouth, I think. I think it came out advertised, or maybe I think someone emailed me and said, do you want to be on this? I was like, hell yeah, you know, do it. So yeah, just applied, and they said, yeah, come along, and all that stuff. So it was really quite an easy experience for me. And I think before that I had an agent that was trying to get me on Neighbours, and they'll show you a list of what they put you on, and I was always on the list there to be considered, and this was cool. This was just the next best thing, or even better, you know.
Did you ever get to audition for anything?
Yeah, I think not Neighbours, but Secret City, when they were filming.
Oh
yeah, that here they asked us to come for auditions. Oh no, it wasn't Secret City. It ended up being Total Control.
Okay.
It was that was a bit different. Yeah, I auditioned for that, and they said, come in for an audition. They said, come in for another audition. Then they said, do you want to be a background extra? Do you want to be a feature extra? Do you want to come in for another audition? And I think by the end, I just gave up. I was just like, you guys can't organise it. But at the time, it had a different title, and it was quite a derogatory title. So I can see why they changed it to Total Control. So, but it was interesting. That was one I believe I remember auditioning for that. But yeah, Secret City, I don't think I did. I think I just asked if they wanted me to be an extra in the background. Yeah, cool. That was cool.
Auditioning is like, it's what we do. Like you have to do it. And for me, I feel like it's like people are like, oh, you should get paid to audition.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And there's like a debate around all of that. But what I want to get to is like, how do you set yourself up for a good audition? And take us through, like, I guess your kind of creative process and how you would do it. Because a lot of it now is like self-tape and digital, send it in. And they like, I know I asked a question and I'm still talking, but what I find hard is that you have to do your piece of camera where it's like, hi, I'm Heath Keighran and I'm auditioning for a thing and I'm 180 centimeters. And then like, there's no editing, you're not allowed to cut, and then you have to go into kind of the audition. And I'm just keen to hear from someone who's like obviously auditioned and had success, how you kind of set yourself up and what you do and how you go about it.
Yeah, there's a really interesting story from that. Was I think one of my first auditions I really did ever, because I've done like being a musician, I did heaps of music auditions, and that was easy because I got a guitar and I can just do it. And I remember there was a CIT production, and it was in like the CIT Centre, so they had a proper stage and everything. And I was saying to myself, what am I doing? Like, I'm not good enough to be here, and all that stuff. And I picked this role, and I auditioned for it, and it took me a while to warm up because I'd never really done one before. And I took a few goes, and I just got more braver and braver. I was able to step out and do it. And I found I was able to still let go and just do it. And I never really overthought it. I never thought, if I do an audition, I'm like, oh, did I get it? Did I not get it? Did I get it? I don't really think like that. I just go, oh, I just did it. And what was interesting coming out of this, there was another actor in Canberra, a really great actor, and he was applying for the same role. And I heard him in the audition, and he smashed it, knocked it out of the park. And I had this moment of like, oh, he just stole my role. And I got down, and I was like, oh man, this is crap. And then I just flipped it in my head and just thought, well, no, he did really good. Like, he deserved that, and he's a great actor, and he had every right to it. And I said, it doesn't mean I did bad, it just means he did really well and smashed it. So I sort of, preparing for success or preparing for failure, I was able to just reconcile in my head at that time, which was interesting. So I guess what I'm getting to is how to build for success. I just practice a lot, and I just go in and try and just let go and do it, and I don't overthink it. Like, and that's interesting. It's not really winging it, but it's just letting go. And afterwards, I remember working with another actress, and she was saying, oh, what if I get it? Have you heard anything? Oh, I'm not going to get it. What am I going to do? And once I do it, it's just, that's out, it's done. It's like a job interview. I don't tend to think that much about it. So I found that is good to protect your energy as well from overthinking and just exhausting yourself too. So I don't know if that really answers your question. No, it's a bit of a tangent, sorry, but it was an interesting lesson.
Very interesting, and I think probably early on in my process too, I was like that, where it's like, I remember going to this audition, and it was to be part of like a production company, or like franchise singing, and they were from America. And I signed up, I must have been pretty young, like 20s.
Yeah, cool.
And I went in, and they give you like an ad, and then they give you something else, and they give you something else, and you got to like kind of learn it on the spot and then do the audition. And I remember thinking, oh, like I did pretty well. Like I think I did okay. And then I got through the next round, and you go in and you do another one, and they're like, yeah, we really love your style, blah, 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 blah. But now like pay $2,500 for headshots and to be part of it. Yeah. And I was like, hang on, that's not right. Like I'm a young dude working, studying. I can't just find $2,500 back then to pay for like headshots and to be part of the like group.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So I just kind of walked away and said no. But I kind of, from that point on, I was like, well, it doesn't really matter. Because I thought like really that was just like a money grab. I'm like, so whether I nailed it or not actually has no impact on like my next step.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the kind of thing I learned from that is that, well, I did it, it's done. What can I learn from it? And then later on in life, I came up with this nice analogy, which is to be like emotionally invested, but not emotionally attached.
Oh, I like
so I
that,
can like give everything to the process and to doing it, but I don't have to have any kind of emotion attached to the outcome. Because if I do that, then I just spiral down and I'm like, why did I get it? Why didn't I get it? Was I wrong? Did I do something wrong? Did I look wrong? Was I like too fat, too skinny? And you kind of lose yourself in what you have no control over or even understanding over.
And that's interesting you say that, because the guy I ran into when we were at the pub before this, the guy I ran into was my old boss, and I remember I attended this job interview, and he gave me this advice. He said, once you've done it, like there's no point thinking about it, because there's nothing you can do. Like if I did bad, don't think about it. You did good, like learn from it 100%. And he said, and there's nothing you can do till you find out. And I found that's the same thing with auditions. So I sort of took that moving forward. I'm not going to let it consume me, you know. And I mean, you can't help what your brain does, but I found if you can sort of set those rules similar to yourself, that was a great analogy.
Yeah, it's nice to kind of, because I also think like the happiness or the joy is in doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like if you got it, that's really cool, and there'd be a whole bunch of joy and happiness in doing it, but actually getting it isn't the like good bit.
Exactly, and that's what success is, the fact that you're there.
Yeah.
The fact that you're there, you're trying, you're doing it, and that's the success of it, and that's what you should be proud of. The fact that you're good enough to attend that audition, and what happens then, and it's same with job interviews. Whoever they pick doesn't mean they made the right decision. They made the decision based on, it could be, I remember someone saying to me with acting, you might lose the job because you had the wrong eye color, or you weren't tall enough, or you're too tall, or something like that. And so it's really that, it's such an interesting, it's like, it could be discrimination if it was anything else, but the fact is, no, this is what we want for, and this is what we're going to get. And so it's those lessons.
There's a little bit in there where you said like being there, and I think in Canberra, it may not be as easy to kind of be there in the scene and be part of it. How have you found, like, because I think Canberra's an awesome place, and the creative space is amazing, the community is amazing, and you get like a lot of support and help and tips and growth from other people in like going through the same thing as you, but like it is a smaller kind of town and a smaller market. How did you kind of tread through like the process and finding work and being in Canberra and looking at like maybe potentially moving or not moving and following that?
I sort of thought about it, like getting into it was, I was going in blind. I just had no idea, I just really wanted to do it. And it was a dream I always wanted to do, and I put it off for more years than I should have, because I was always following other projects and all that sort of stuff. And but what I sort of took from it was a sort of, an idea came up with that anyone can be your teacher. Even someone that's like younger, older, whatever, or not even that area, just absorbed as much as I could and networked as much as I could. And I realized I love chatting. I'll talk to anyone really. And I found that was a really good skill, just to talk to people and say, well, how did you get that job? Or what do you do? Or how do you do a self-tape and all that stuff? And it was really just networking, relying on people that were experienced and were happy to help, and I found navigating that way was really just like, that sort of saying, learn from other people's mistakes. And so I did that, I tried to learn from other people or surrounded myself with the right people. And I found that sort of came maybe, naturally part of my personality that I just like people. But yeah, just really kind of just learnt and navigated that way through it all.
Yeah, I
'Cause
really
it's
like
complex.
that. Anyone is your teacher.
Yeah.
Like it's nice because then you can kind of go into any situation with open arms and an open mind, and
Yeah,
like,
and you can
what
learn.
can I take away from this?
And you can learn from, you can learn from a child, you know,
Yeah.
that they can just teach you something that you may have it's not like you don't know it, but you haven't thought about that for a long way or at all. And I found that was really good just to get in there and get involved with everyone.
Yeah.
And, so when I was getting into it, I found myself surrounded by people that were a lot younger than me too.
Yeah.
People in their early 20s and things like that. And I remember like working with someone that couldn't really listen to someone that was younger than them. They just didn't have the authority. Where I found these younger people were just so driven and just had so much like drive and knew themselves, and I love that. And I learnt off them and learnt off older people, learnt off everyone I could. Everyone was my teacher.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool. There's a thing that I want to follow around like being younger. You kind of said you wish you started your journey when you were younger, but you fall in other kind of creative pursuits. And because it does feel easier to do it when you're younger, when you don't have like more commitments or more things that you're responsible for, whether that's like mortgage or kids or like even like parents that are getting sick or anything like that. And it, like I kind of like, oh man, I wish I did it earlier, but for whatever reasons, I never did, even though I really wanted to. And I think a lot of that was around probably what you said earlier about like, am I good enough to be here kind of thing, that self-doubt, that self kind of critique and hatred, for like a better word, be like, I'm not good enough, I won't even try.
Yeah. This is
but now,
self-sabotage,
self-sabotage. But now, like being older, I'm like, well, I can still do it. It just looks a bit different. Yeah, I can't just like go do and study full time and give up everything else, but I can weave things in and out and learn and try to grow as much as I can in any situation.
And it's a concept too, and a mindset. So, I was working with this lady that she's a lot older, and she goes, a lot of the roles are for younger people. And I said, well, a lot of them are written by younger people. Like if you're looking at student films, a lot of them are written by students that understand their age. They don't understand someone in your age. But however, I remember saying to her, there's a role for everyone. As she's an older lady, I said, there's roles you can play and essential roles to the story. And on that, I remember meeting this young fellow that he said, I always wanted to do acting. And I said, well, why don't you? Like, he was only like 24 at the time or something like that. And he said, yeah, my family are actors. And he said, but I was told by a teacher, a drama teacher, that I wasn't good looking enough. I couldn't be a Chris Hemsworth or something. He said something like that. I couldn't be a leading guy. And I said to him, he was actually a nice looking young man. And I said, you're fine looking, and not everyone's a Chris Hemsworth, Not everyone's a leading man, but there's some other like essential characters that you can play, and you can build that story and do your own part. And I said, one of the biggest lessons I learned is, you pick who you listen to, and you really, and as anyone creative, you'll get people that will tell you everything because they want to tell you and they want to guide you, but that advice isn't always right. And so I said to him, just do it. I said, I'm not a leading man, but the exposure and the fun I've had and just box ticking, I said, it's the expectations versus reality, like, you might not make it as a $1 million actor or whatever, but you can also just have fun. And I think that's what pays me, is just the fun.
Yeah, for sure. As much as we'd all like to be Chris Hemsworth,
it'd be lovely.
I'd like to be that tall at least. But I think you're right, like, and it is a mindset, because when you're young, and then I kind of got to this when I was like 30s. I'm like, well, now I'm like in no man's land, where I'm not young enough to play like a kid or like someone that's high school, but I'm not old enough to have like be a family man or have that kind of thing. And I kind of just stopped doing that for a while.
I get you.
Which I'm like, in retrospectively, I'm like, well, there's life at every stage, and there's characters at every stage of life. So there could be a 30-something-year-old that doesn't have kids and is not a studying or anything, and there's a role there for it.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think it's like a lot of it, I feel like now, is like creating your own opportunities as well. And you kind of said you were looking at like writing some things.
Yeah,
And like that. And I mean, Trot Fest has started again, which is pretty amazing for
Absolutely.
like Australia.
And you know, and there's a actress I knew that she just applied for everything, you know, and she said sometimes she's surprised when she gets a call back and all that stuff. And so, you know, you can really just self-defeat and self-sabotage all you want and say, you know, I'm at this age, you know, I'm not really that prevalent, but that's, once again, that's, you know, it's a mindset. And if you look at movies, there's people of all ages
and all looks and
all
all
looks
sizes
and everything like that. And I always tell people, you know, there's someone that you need to be a librarian or a mother or a son or whatever like that, and it can work at all different stages. And you can fill that role, you know.
Sure.
But like, sorry, I sort of hijacked it again. Sorry, but you can always look at your own creative pursuits as well, because seeing what people do, and a lot of filmmakers love people that write. Not all of them are writers, and some of them are happy for you just to give you input, you know. Yeah. And there's a small little element you can do there where you can just say, actually, I think this would be great for this scene, or give an idea, and it can just change the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think writing, or like if you're an actor, like studying scripts and trying to understand scripts is one thing, but writing it is a totally different beast, because you kind of start to understand the subtext and the nuances in like their language, or why did they say this instead of that, or like who are they more broadly beyond kind of just that one scene, which is, I think has been, we've started writing stuff which has been really, really hard, and trying to understand like what works as a format and how we can structure our stories and things like that has been a bit of an eye opener as well. And then I think it was Matt Damon or Ben Affleck who in one of the interviews was like, when they were talking about writing together, they're like, don't judge me for my like worst ideas, but celebrate me for my good ideas.
Yeah, cool.
And then you kind of just give away to, well, let's just throw everything out there. And there's no kind of judgment or critique on something that's not bad. I mean, if something is bad or not going to work, then you just discard it and move on. Yeah. And I think that kind of ability to do that quickly in like writing, but then also in acting, to be able to do these self-tapes and like do daily self-tapes or auditions and stuff like that, you kind of have to get to that point in yourself where you're like, well, I'm happy to follow this or I'm not, and make that decision and then keep moving, rather than like labour over a decision that probably doesn't need to be even laboured over at all.
And it might be really good, and it might not be, you know, and it's and it sort of just reminded me, I remember a filmmaker just said, he gave advice, heard him overhearing advice to give to someone. He said, if you get criticism for it, don't take it personally. It's about your writing, not your person. And you sort of, and you can apply that to, you know, work life and all that sort of stuff. But it's as I've sort of found more as a musician is I don't always find my stuff is good enough, or I critique it way too much. And the fact is that I just get it out there is still just it's worth it, you know, because you could just end up with something that's amazing or something that's probably not as great as others, but it's still good to get it out there. And different people hear different things. And
yeah, for sure. There was, and I think on that you said earlier on, like when you audition for a gig, you have a guitar in front of you. Yeah. And there's that to me, because I play guitar as well.
Oh, do you? I don't know. Cool.
Yeah. And that to me is like, well, I have something between me and the audience, or me and the camera. Whereas when you're kind of auditioning or doing a self-tape, it's just you and the camera.
Exactly. And I found I remember explaining to someone, because someone said that they couldn't act because they said, I'm too much of an introvert. And I said, a lot of actors are introverts. Yeah. And I said, if you got me to like stand up on a stage and talk about myself, I'd be like, this is going to be boring. This isn't going to be very interesting at all, and I don't want to do it. But you say, no, I want you to be a real estate agent and try and sell this property. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'll do that. And I'll just get up and do it. And I wouldn't really feel embarrassed and all that stuff, because that's how I found you can overcome it, is like, because it's not you, you're playing something, so you got permission to do it, and it's permission to be something else or to create something. And I find that's the same with writing or music or acting. It's just that, even though, like I said, you got a guitar in front of you, and I found that easier at first, but then at the same time, you're not you're portraying something, and you bring a piece of yourself. That's true, but I found that sort of something you can bring along that, you know, that's yourself. You know, it's not yourself. Yeah. You're behind something still. You know. Yeah.
So I remember, like early on, I would kind of freeze up when there was a camera. And I think I was on one set, and it was actually that film, it was filmed here in Canberra a while ago, and it was about that ANU student that like overdosed their partner or something.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I was an extra in that, and I think I got cut from the film, but that happens. But I remember like the first time kind of being on a real set with real production, and I was just like so interested in everything that I kept like looking at the camera, or I kept.
It's a lot going on. Yeah. And you find, I remember working with a bit that weren't as good actors, not as experienced actors, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of movement, and some film crew make sure there isn't any movement and all that stuff. But yeah, there's. I remember someone sitting someone down and say, look at everything, see what's going on, then pay attention. You know, because it's a lot happening.
So part of what we do is we get guests to critique something.
Yeah, sure.
Which is to show that it's okay to put yourself out there and seek advice and get help, and then also just to hear like from people who have been doing it, who have seen it, who are in the industry, to help give like little tips or tricks to how to do it better if someone at home is thinking of doing something. So we recorded a audition, like a self-tape.
Yeah, cool.
So we'll just get you to watch that, and then
sweet.
We'll have a bit of a discussion around
Thanks, man.
like what you liked, didn't like, and what you think you could do better if you were trying to develop a character or something like that.
Right to press play?
Hi, my name's Heath Keighran in Australia, 180 centimetres tall, recently started Jiu-Jitsu, so a white belt, which is pretty cool. I hope you enjoy my audition. You shouldn't look at me like that. I'm not here for that. I'm here to stop people from putting a bullet in your head. That's it. You're not some scared kid hiding behind a name. You're smart, sharp, dangerous when you want to be. But that makes you a target. And I've seen what happens to women like you when the wrong man gets too close. I've seen it. So I stay between you and them. That's the job. That's the line. But sometimes I wish you wouldn't look at me like I'm the last good thing in this world. Because if I cross that line, even once, I don't come back. And neither do you.
Good trigger discipline there. Holding the firearm. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just honest kind of feedback, opinions, whether it's to do with like how you would do it, character development, pacing, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Love to hear it.
I thought it was good. It looked like you're thinking the words, and I like that. It's that seemed very natural. It's just like, you know, you're showing this rawness and yourself, and I really like that. I thought it was good because you could see the words in your eyes as well. You know, even you just looked off into the distance, and I thought that was I love that part of it. And it was nice length, and also the photos at the end show different kind of things, different angles and all that sort of stuff. Not a critique, but one thing I like to do is to make it more natural is to stumble over a word here and there. It's like you're just trying to get something else, and you're trying to explain yourself, and I deliberately stumble a word, and I find that sort of just makes it look like he's actually trying to think, he's actually getting frustrated, trying to explain himself. That was probably how I'd do it, but not saying you did it wrong at all. That's fine. Yeah, it's just, it's different ways to do it. But
with the stumble, would you, just to like hear your creative process, would you practice on different words, or kind of just naturally see where it
find
fell
it
out?
So like, if I'm just saying, you don't want to see who I am, do you? That kind of stuff, and that kind of stumble and that kind of quick raise because he's just getting angry that you're not understanding, or he's trying to explain himself. Sometimes I do something like that, and some directors love it, some hate it because they think I've actually fumbled. But it's working in that natural kind of way how someone talks. That's how I like to throw it in. And sometimes you can do. I remember doing one audition, and they didn't know if they're going to do it in an Australian accent or American accent. So halfway I switched and just went to straight American, or went into straight Australian. And I think that sort of showed that you can do a bit of both and give them a bit of variety and things like that.
Yeah.
The eyes tell the story, so I always like, squint if I'm trying to get something out, I'm just getting angry. But I loved how you just like did that 1,000-yard stare.
Okay.
It's just like, I'm off, I'm thinking, then I'm back, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah, great audition, man. Good work.
Oh, thank you.
No, you're welcome. And good trigger discipline on the firearm, that's always, that's always good. And doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, man, that's always a good art to... And it's and that's another one when to think about with auditioning and all that, and starting something. It's a martial art because you're going to go in there. It's such a brave step to start because you're going there knowing nothing, and you're going to get your ass kicked, or you're just going to be with people that have been doing all their lives, all this sort of stuff. And it's a brave step to walk in, put on a white belt, and get done. So yeah, well done.
Thank you. I think they say the hardest step is going through the door the first time.
100% it is. Especially with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's very technical.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I think that's why, like, I like it is because of the technicality behind it.
Yeah.
It kind of gives me, like, my brain gets to focus on things as much as I get over addicted to it and try to understand everything before.
A lot of us do, man. Yeah.
But you do some martial arts and you also do some like stunt coordination and you have done it for some films. Do you want to take us through kind of how you branched into that and where that's taken you?
Yeah. So I think how it sort of started was I was doing this acting class, and I think I mentioned it. And one of the girls there, she reached out to me and she says, "Hey, I got to do an audition and I'm going to fight for it. Can you show me how to fight in an hour?" And I said, "No." And I said, "But I can show you how to look like you can. I'll show you a few things." So I started on. I showed her just basic wrist grabs, blocking, punching, countering. And I said, "What do you have to do for this?" And she goes, "They said just come up with your own fight scene." And I said, "Okay, well, what do you want to do for you have to do a fight scene?" She goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Do you know how you're going to do it?" She goes, "No." And I said, "Well, what's your character?" She goes, "I'm in a village." And I said, "Are you fighting for your life? Are you a brawler? Or are you someone that just doesn't know what they're doing?" And she goes, "Well, I'm desperate. Something's happened and I'm just fighting for my life." I'm like, "Okay, let's go rough. Let's go brawler. Let's just get it done and just use everything you have." And so I trained her to that, and then she used it for the audition and got the role. And they said, "We're going to use that fight scene in the film," and they offered to credit me in it, and that was cool. And that's where it sort of started. And then I think a friend of mine was making a film, and he said, "I want you to, as a domestic violence scene, so it's a bit rough, not something that it's not easy to do." And he said, "I want you to do it because not only do I know some of that stuff, but I'm also very caring, and I want people to feel safe, and I want people to know it's okay, and that's how you can do it without hurting yourself and not hurting someone else." And so I really think that was probably the biggest strength of the fact that I could just create a safe environment for people. So that's really how it got started. So I've kind of just done a little bit of it. To be honest, there's people more qualified than me, 100% in Canberra, and I've learnt off them as well. But it's fun to do because you really got to think about a scene. You think about it differently and think about all the things, as you would know, training martial arts is you got to undo that because you got to telegraph. You got to, bring it up and show it and really sell it. Yeah.
I really like that first kind of point was, well, like, why and who is the character? Because just that blew my mind. It's like, it would be totally different how they would act and the moves they would know and the style and everything and the emotion behind it too. Yeah,
and the confidence in it. And you sort of, if you've got someone that doesn't know what they're doing, they are going to be rough and they're going to make mistakes and get off balance and all that stuff. But if you've got someone that's like, if you say someone, the characters are the ex-SAS, I'm like, okay, they're going to shut it down quickly. They're going to get in and shut it down. So that's, you work out the motivation, and it really comes from an acting point of view as well. It's like, who is this person? What are they doing? What do they need to do? And what is their skill level? And and you can really just bring it from someone that's just physically strong to someone that's not physically strong. And once you sort of break it down, you find it's completely reversed. Like if you're grabbing someone, you're throwing them to a wall. You're not actually throwing them there. You're grabbing onto them, and they're holding your arms and they're pulling you back. So they're in control, so they can control how hard they're going to hit something. So they don't throw the head back, things like that. So it's funny when you get into it because they're doing it. You know,
Yeah.
you look like you're throwing them into a wall. They're throwing themselves into the wall. You know, and so it's little things like that you can do to really make them safe. Yeah.
That's cool. There was this quote I heard the other day. I think it was by Tom Hardy. Like someone was going on about asking whether he's a method actor.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's
and he's like, no,
he's not.
You're either a convincing or a non-convincing actor.
Yeah.
And then just with that discussion around the, like understanding that who they are, where they are, and that when you're like building a character that you did for like Blue World Order, how do you like spend time and create this whole world and ecosystem and backstory to the character, or do you just kind of rely on the text and the script to give you everything you need?
Yeah, a bit of both. So it's reading with the script and talking to the director what they want, and because it's always sort of like that sharing the idea with them, because it's the director and the writers put a lot of work into it. So I want to be able to do that justice or bring it to it. So it's a bit of both. So it's talking to them, what do you need from it? What do you want it to look like? And what does it look like to you? And if they're like, look, do what you can, do what you want, or you get this freedom, and then you get the idea on it. So it's really just building those on several factors on how you're going to do it, I find.
Okay. Has there ever been like a time where you came up with something and then like took it to the director and they were like, yeah, or vice versa, no?
Yeah.
And then how do you then kind of recreate your character and go with that?
Absolutely. Like I think I've done it. Yeah, it's actually happened that way where I've come to someone and go, this is what I'm thinking, and they go, oh my God, I love it. I haven't even thought about that. And even one guy said to one thing, I said, I've got this idea, and he goes, I love that so much. I'm going to put that in another script and write it. And I thought that was a really cool feeling. That, and then I've had ones where I've worked on an accent and a voice, and I did it, and the guy's like, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, right.
And he sent me this clip and he goes, why don't you do a bit more like that? Okay. And then he did it, and he did it better. And I was like, maybe you should just do it. And I just couldn't nail it. And then I remember one I was doing this stage performance, a stage audition really, and I went in for the reading, and to be honest, I just wasn't really the right choice for it. Okay. And I was feeling it, and I was like, no, I don't think I have the range that the director wants. And he rang me and he said, I love your work, love what you do, but unfortunately, he's being really gentle. He goes, I just might have to go with someone else. I'm like, absolutely, man. Yeah. And that's what I found was really quite good, because it's like, that's his vision and that's what he wants. And I said, if I'm not the right guy for you, do it, go the right way. And it sort of brings back to being a musician. If you get the wrong guy, it's not going to work. And so it's sort of happened all kinds of ways. It's humbling. And and it's, I found that's been a very huge lesson that, you can get shot down too, or you can just take off with it. I think, but you got to take the risk, right? Yes, and it's been that brave and creating that. And I remember one actor, she said to me, she said that the advice she got is to read the script verbatim, bit by bit. And she said, I was told never go off. And I said, no, go off. If you think you can bring something, because the writer will write it how they think, but you're got to interpret it. And I said, if you feel that that's not you and that's not how you talk, you could say, can I do this? And it's allowing yourself to have that safe environment to actually talk up in that. And sometimes you can just make it sound really well. Like one, I channeled someone that I knew the role was a horrible guy, is abusive and all that. And I channeled this guy I knew that talked like that. And just these words came out that are not even mine. And so I found that really interesting. The director's like, that's what we want. We want someone that's a jerk. We want the audience to dislike this guy. And so, you never know we're being not brave, but being adventurous, I guess. Creatively adventurous.
And I think there's also a bit in that around, like, for lack of better words, like being ugly. Like it's not you. It's the character. So you wouldn't normally go around and say derogatory things about women, but the character is. And
that's the character. So you kind
of have to.
And some people have a hard time disassociating that. Like I remember someone saying at work, I said I was applying for this role. The guy's like this thug, a brawler, and someone said, "Oh no, you're too nice for that." And I said, 100%. Like in real life, I wouldn't hurt anyone. I would say I'm a nice guy, but. I said, but I'm playing someone, and would you say that if I was playing an alien? Or I played someone that acted like a cat, and it's like, it's some people have a hard time disassociating who you are and what you're portraying as. Yeah.
I find that with like improv acting on stage, there's like some people that can't let go of who they are, and they won't let the character kind of follow the thread or take that and say what the character would say, and then it kind of becomes this weird mix match of them as a person but the character, and no one enjoys it.
Yeah.
Whereas if they just gave over to the character,
Yeah.
the audience would be like, yeah, that's the character, it's not them. We're not going to hold it against them and, you know, yell at them after the show or something because they said something.
And I think some directors were saying it's easier to dial you back than bring you up.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I think that's something you can explore, and maybe not do every time, but start at 12, you know, and then bring it down. And then that gives you that room to move with it as well.
For sure. And that's it. Like, that resonates with me because I always find it hard to start high.
I getcha. Yeah.
And especially like with auditions or like in-room auditions, it's a bit more, I think you're more nervous, there's more people watching, it's like you get one shot, whereas at home you can kind of redo it over and over to a point where you end up hating it all, and so I should have done the first thing anyway. But in improv and on stage, the idea is like, you can have energy and be at like a 12 in anything you do. So even if you're playing like a depressed character, you can still be at 12.
Yeah.
You know, you can still walk with intent. You can still have energy in those loud steps or the drag or the huffs or the puffs. And it's like, sometimes you think that, well, I do, sometimes I think that if you're playing someone who's pulled back, then you kind of pull your energy back, but you actually have to keep the energy the same.
Yeah.
And do the things with the same intent and energy as you would who someone's excited, because it's still them at their capacity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I found that in one of my first auditions. I remember I was acting alongside opposite an actress, and she was good. And then the next actress smashed it once again, and she helped because it just allowed me to. She was just so real with it, and it just allowed me to go, I need to up it. And so it's, and I think they call it in psychology mirroring neurons, where you match someone else's sort of energy levels, or if they're really down, can bring you down, they're up and it can bring you up. And it's something that, you got to be mindful, I think, with acting, because, you're relying on other people to bring you up, and
Before I'll hand over the reins, because you kind of want to ask me some questions.
That'd be cool.
On that, how do you, because part of it also is like if you're doing a scene and you're auditioning for a scene and you have someone off camera reading with you, like a lot of it's also on them to deliver their lines and bring the energy and have that character. And sometimes it's hard to find someone to do that all the time.
Yep.
Do you have like a go-to people where you're like, they'll, like, how do you, like, it's hard, you know?
Yeah, it is really hard. And part of me, I just hate inconveniencing anyone, and I struggle asking for help, and that's a lesson in life as well as acting, is when to and how to, and it's okay to ask for help and assistance. And people have reached out to me and asked for me, but I've never reached out to them. But what I used to do for auditions is would I record both parts, and I'd edit them together, and maybe it's not as easy bouncing off the energy, but that's how I always did it. Because I love the editing software, and I love to do that and just read the other parts. But I wish I did more of it, because others did it, and I was happy to help them out. And I think that's what people got to remember with the acting community. It's just like we all help each other out. We all, and you can reach out to a filmmaker and say, hey, can you, help me with my show reel? Yeah, absolutely. You did free work for me. I'll hand it back to you. And same with actors. There's a lot of people that are willing to help you and help you get over that line, and you just got to reach out. And it's hard, and it's coming from someone like myself that just finds it hard to do. But I found that. Reach out, man.
Maybe we need to make a little group.
100%. And they do that too. They're out there, and everyone's willing to help you do that. And it's that would be like, that's advice. It sounds stupid coming from someone that doesn't do it, but that would be great. To learn to reach out and ask.
One last question from me before you can
throw it back.
What, like, one highlight of your career so far?
Well, it was interesting when I was a musician, and I was working in doing bands, and we did a lot of gigs and like corporate gigs and all that sort of stuff. And at this moment, I was on stage, and it was really cool because I was playing for this. It was like a formal type of event, and I had a dressing room on the side, and I had everything a musician would need. You know, they got speakers, there's going to be a curtain reveal, there's lights, they've got their own sound mixer, and he's walking around with an iPad. He could mix you in real time. And I said to myself, I remember saying that, I said, how many people have picked up a guitar? How many people have stuck with it? How many people have stuck with it and did something with it? That's a form of garage band. How many people have stuck with it, formed a garage band? How many people got out of the garage band and got into pubs and into corporate? And it goes on and on and on and on. And I thought that I'm living someone's dream, and I should really appreciate the moment. And I sort of did that with acting, with every second. It's just like, appreciate every single moment. And I found that was just that massive goal of reaching that. And so the highlights, I think it was just sort of everything that my first commercial ever did. Because I always said to myself, I want to die on screen. I want to do a commercial. I want to kiss a girl. I want to get recognized somehow. And I just sort of achieved all those bits. So the whole achievement is really just everything. Like, getting on TV was cool. From my mum not recognizing me because I wasn't really myself on TV. And I had to point her out, oh, that's me in that commercial. And she, oh, is it? You know, that was just that little kind of thing, or, you know, someone coming up to me and saying, hey, you're in that commercial, aren't you? That kind of stuff. They're all highlights. And I've told myself to never forget that, and never take it for granted, and never be miserable about it. So it really sort of started from that, working in a band to doing this. And, you know, even as I just walked into this room, you know, the smell of the room, the lights, the people, everything like that, I just really just take it in and saying, one day I'm going to miss this. You know, one day there's going to be a memory. So I just be in it, live it, and just enjoy it. I know that sounds like a cliche line.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's how I've sort of treated every single project, from doing a student film, you know, something very low budget, to doing something that's, you know, high budget when you're working on a massive film set, is just to enjoy every single moment, take it in. So that's a long answer. I'm so sorry.
No, it's beautiful.
It's really just thank
nice.
you. Yeah.
I think we probably all need to do that a lot more in everything we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right, time to throw it back.
Yeah,
to you, man.
I'm nervous.
All right, cool. So I remember someone asking me, what was your ideal role? What would you like to play?
Yeah.
Where would you see that? Your ideal role?
Yeah.
If you could even invent it, you know, what would you like to do?
It's interesting. Because I think I'm like pretty funny.
Yeah.
And on stage and stuff, like I think I'm pretty funny and like good comedic timing. Mm-hmm. And then, so I like the idea of like a comedy kind of role. But then I also like action, you know? I'd love to be on like Extraction, like with Chris Hemsworth or something, you know? Like, especially the amazing camera work and the one shots and stuff. Yeah. That would be amazing too, just to experience that and have that kind of, like the explosions and the like choreography and the like also, I just think it'd be pretty amazing to experience that. But then also like just the kind of funny comedy, make people laugh. I always, because my thing behind it all was like, how cool would it be that like you're in a cinema and I'm on the big screen and it's like you look around and if people are meant to be laughing, then they're laughing, or if they're meant to be crying, they're crying, and like you're delivering emotion and giving the audience something to like grab onto and like project and understand, and maybe their own kind of grief or their own humor or their own dreams are fulfilled and things are changing in them as they're watching you. I get you. And that's what I love. It's
that's a great answer, isn't it? Yeah.
How nice.
Because it's not just a surface answer, it has so many layers to it. Yeah, cool.
And shoot a gun, you know?
Yeah, they're fun, man.
I've never done it. But
haven't you? Oh, they're fun, yeah.
I was saying to Pete we should go to like a shooting range, right?
Yeah.
And learn how to actually...
Yeah, and it's fun to learn because you learn about safety as well, and that's the most key point. And like I find I'm a pacifist, but I love like shooting targets or just being involved in that. I think they're just fun to do.
And I think like on that also there's like a whole bunch around like drawing on your experiences or being able to like associate an experience to fulfill a need in the character. And it's like, unless you're going out and experiencing things, then you don't really have much to draw on.
Yeah, okay, sure.
And like, say you had an action movie, it's like, well, what does it feel like to actually pull the trigger?
Yeah.
You know, like there's stuff in that too that the character would have to portray or understand and feel. And so I think there's a whole bunch of like experiences that we should be having, and you have them in everyday lives, and talking to people, and like love, sadness, whatever it is, and they're all things that end up kind of helping you to portray character.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good answer. So if there was a movie made about your life, right, and you know it's creative license, it doesn't have to be 100% accurate. Who would you like to portray you, and who would be your potential love interest? No wrong answers, man.
Yeah. Who would I like to portray me?
I mean, it doesn't have to like look exactly like you. Or something that you reckon either would do you justice, or someone that you have a lot of respect for that would, make it enjoyable.
Yeah, sure. Tough one. I'd probably go with Ryan Gosling.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, I can see that.
And then love interest, probably Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she'd be cool. And they'll go well on screen together. Yeah. And because Ryan Gosling would have, like, he can do serious, he can do comedy as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be a comedy action or something.
Could be like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Write
That's a good answer. Yeah. Well, you might like it. Yeah. I had a funny story working in firearms on film.
Yeah.
So I'm left-handed.
Oh.
Even though I play guitar right-handed, but I shoot left-handed. And I was shooting, it was in a training scenario. I was playing a terrorist. And the machine gun I had was set up to shoot blanks, right? And so I had to rush into a village and take prisoners in this training scenario. And when I was shooting, the shells would hit me on the side of the face. And so I thought it was funny trying to act tough and go, ow, 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 as I did. And then a film I worked on where they had a firearm on it, and they gave it to me and they said, are you left or right-handed? And I said, I would shoot left-handed. He goes, can you shoot right-handed? And I said, give it a go. And he said, yeah, because left-handers look weird on screen. And I was like, no, people don't even notice,
Yeah.
So yeah, I found that an interesting experience. And they weren't loaded, those ones. They just said pretend to shoot and
Sure.
make it look like it's shooting. And
I don't know if you even know this, but if you're shooting a gun,
yeah,
do the casings always come out the same side?
yeah.
So
Yeah, it depends how it's
is that
set.
why they were hitting you?
Yeah, so it depends on the setup. So the one I was shooting was meant for a right-hander.
Yeah.
So as you're shooting, it would shoot that way. But as I was shooting,
Yeah.
ejection casings would hit me in the face. I thought it was funny.
Yeah,
because they're hot when they come out, and
Yeah.
not hurting, but it's just flicking you. It's not like something flicking in the face.
Yeah.
Or something. Just it's annoying. Yeah.
Yeah. That just reminded me of that scene in Inception when Leonardo DiCaprio shoots the gun.
And he catches,
And then
the,
catches
the
the
shell. Yeah,
yeah.
That was cool. That was cool.
Like those little things, I think, make their character, because it's like they're so in what they're doing that you believe it.
Yeah.
Like they're not, like it's like, oh, he's done that 7,000 times. Like it's not a new thing to him.
And he makes it look easy. You know? Yeah.
And then I find I think this was like a movie with Adam Driver, and he was in the kitchen, and just the way like he like opened the cupboard, you're like, oh well, like it felt like he lived there his whole life.
Yeah,
it wasn't like he was mechanically opening. It was like just a nice little.
And sometimes it's actors that notice that. You know? And you can show someone else, you're like, see, I did that, and I'm like, no. Yeah.
I always say that to Grace. Like, oh, did you see that? And
Yeah.
she's like, no.
My
Or
partner
like
hates it. She just says, stop talking about it.
Yeah. Or like when you see the water or the liquid change in the glass in each take. And
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah. So as a musician yourself, so you play
Yeah.
guitar. What do you play?
like
Acoustic or electric?
acoustic, yeah.
Yeah, cool,
I have
cool.
a Cole Clark Fat Lady 2.
Nice. I had a 12 string.
Oh,
That was
nice.
pretty cool. So if you're walking down the street, you're feeling really good, right? You're walking slow motion. What's your theme song?
Oof. It would be something like coastal vibe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
maybe
chill.
like Beautiful Girls,
Yeah.
early era.
Yeah, cool.
That's probably where or like John Mayer, early era.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
That kind of
That's a
vibe.
great answer. Yeah.
What would yours?
It sounds stupid, but I picked some sort of like a blues song, like
yeah.
Born Under a Bad Sign or something, like something that's a Jimi Hendrix version or something. It was just really kind of slow, but it's just this great groove to it. Not that I have great groove, but it'll be cool to have that song to walk to in my slow motion walk. I'd probably pick something like that.
Do you ever use music to get into like the character space?
Yeah, there's I was in this feature film, and the character was had PTSD. He was an ex-police officer, and he had left the force, and him and his partner were moving out to the country to start a new life and all that sort of stuff. And so I was looking up PTSD and how people show it and manifest it, and in the movie it's a supernatural thriller as well. So it's like things are going on, and his wife thinks it's all in his head. And so I was watching it, how I saw it, I was like, I kind of just had him just withdrawn and didn't know really how to word it, and I thought it was a good way to play it. But watching on film, I thought probably could do a bit more with it. But on the set, I created a playlist that had all these songs, which I thought how he was feeling, and I was sort of thinking about he can't put them into words, so I put it into music. So I picked this song. It's originally by the Pixies, Where's My Mind, but it's on piano, and it's really kind of slow, and it's really emotive. So I'd play a playlist, and I'd play that every day going to set, and just sort of try and get that mode that this guy was hurt, upset, and he felt he's letting his wife down. And so I played that to just get into that mindset. So I use music, and a lot of people have done that and create the playlist, and I found that really interesting. So what are your goals for acting? Like I said, mine were a bit silly. I just wanted to get on TV. I wanted to die on screen, and I wanted to kiss a girl. All this sort of stuff. What do you have a list, or are you just in it for the ride itself?
I love it. Definitely in it for the ride. But I also I want to be on a Hollywood film.
Yeah, cool.
That would be my goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not my goal is to be a lead. And I know it sounds really kind of egotistical, and probably once you get there, it probably doesn't mean anything. But standing up, winning an award amongst your peers, and being I did a good job.
Yep.
That kind of recognition and acknowledgement that, I can act.
Yeah. I get you. That makes a lot of sense.
It just reminds me of that Jim Carrey speech where he wins the Golden Globe, and he's because he's paying it out. But he's tonight I'm not just any man going home to bed. I'm 2-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey going home to bed. And I kind of got the feel from that. I was he got it, and that wasn't the fun bit. Getting to that point of getting it was probably his fun bit. Yeah,
because once you sort of get there, you just and now what?
Yeah.
And I think a musician was saying that the fact that you're just doing it is the achievement.
Yeah.
And I always keep that in my mind. And it'd be nice to get recognised and get that achievement. I totally get you, but that's a great goal, man. It's an achievable goal as well.
Hope so.
Yeah, you can do it. I believe in you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
you got it.
I'll have to get out there.
Yeah. Does it have a time frame on it?
No, I used to think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think as you kind of get older, you're my big break could be at 50.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop now because it hasn't happened, because who knows when the big break is, or what that even looks like. And
exactly.
Maybe it's a series on Netflix or something. It doesn't. I don't know what. It doesn't have to be that thing, but that's the kind of goal.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks so much.
Man, thank you so much for having me. This has been a great experience, so thank you.
It's been really
and I
cool.
love what you're doing this, so well done, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.